Hi, Tim Sales here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the purpose of promoting, but it's part 2, how I determine what to offer. Number 2 is the 2 templates I use to promote, and then 3-part test to measure an effective promotion. All right, so in this series of videos, I'm talking about the pipeline, specifically on lead generation. The pipeline is how every business does business. No college can get a student unless they do this pipeline. No doctor can get a patient. So just everybody, you can't get a spouse without doing this pipeline, okay? So the step 1 is to generate the lead, and that's what I'm talking about in this series of videos. Okay, so my template to create offers, all right? It's quite simple, and you can't believe how simple it is, but from my own experience, in other words, I'm using the product, I'm building the business, whatever that is, okay? So from my own experience and by asking others, that is the reason I like to go to events and conventions and be on all the Zooms and all of that stuff. Quote, what am I sure I can do for somebody? What am I absolutely positive that I can do for somebody? Right? That's the simplistic question. And then number 1, this is just some examples to stave off inflation. Okay, so if inflation is, I don't know, 8%, well, then we got to make 8% more money to sustain where we are. Okay, so I can help people do that. So if they were making $100,000, I can help them make a little bit more, or $50,000 or whatever. All right, increase their income. I can do that. Lose weight. I can do that. Better sleep. I can do that. Okay, I know I can do that. What am I sure I can do for somebody? Okay, so that's now this falls in that ethical lane, because when you promote something that you don't know if you can, well, then that's when you feel icky, and that's when I feel icky. And we should feel icky, okay? So, but if I'm just getting started and I'm trying the product, but there's a whole lot of people doing it, I want to get those testimonials. I want to understand how, like how many are getting that result and things like that, okay? So now you understand that. Decide what would probably be the most attractive item that will be responded to. Okay, so I could do a lot of different products, all right? So I'm going to choose the one, okay? And then decide what would probably be the most attractive that will be responded to. Okay, so in earlier videos, I talk about in the marketing side of things, what you're trying to get is to create want. And if I'm going to put out some sort of a marketing piece, then I want to figure out which one's going to have the most response if I put it out there. And I don't know that, but I'm just trying to guess at it at this stage. But that would be the step that I want to go to. Or the most attractive item about lose weight, or the most attractive item about better sleep, or the most attractive item right now on inflation. Next one is communicate a complimentary factual article, post, advertisement about it, asking the prospect to respond. Okay, and so this is an important piece of this because you want to ask for responses. And it's because you're coming from a particular position. So you're wanting to help somebody get something that they want. And if you know you can get that result for somebody, then do it and ask for a response back. So that's what I mean by asking the prospect to reply. Okay, and then you promote. Push that article, post, advert out in all directions for 2 to 3 months so that it focuses my attention on that one thing, and it focuses the prospect's attention for the same amount of time. So in other words, I don't want to just constantly be bombarding different things that creates confusion and also all of my follow-ups and all of my common questions and things like that, they're really at the tip of my tongue when I'm focusing on doing that promotion multiple times, because I get sharp at answering those questions, okay? So, let's see, one more. Then find something else I am sure I can do for somebody and repeat. All right, so I would screenshot this if I were you, because it's just so simple of an operating basis to not capture it. Okay, so the whole thing around promotion is send things out, make it known, get it out, right? So that's the main thing. That will cause a person to respond. This is secondary, but it's what you're trying to get done. So then getting a response is the result of in harmony communication, graphic design, images, words, video, plus knowing the audience. So the only way you're going to be able to compile all of this stuff is by knowing the audience and knowing the product, okay? And so all of this needs to be in harmony. I'm going to give you an example in just a minute. It's going to need to be in harmony, all right? Whether it be, let's say that you're, I don't know, creating a weight loss program or a fat loss program for men, and it's more on a rugged side. So the fonts are going to be a little bit thicker, fatter, right? So a little stronger communication. So you're just going to do things having to do with the audience and then also the effectiveness of the product. So in the weight loss program. Okay, so in harmony, communication is communicating as your prospect would or wants to. Okay, very important that when you step in and you put on your marketing hat, you're not you. Okay? You are your prospect, and you're writing that sales copy for your prospect. It's not for you. And every time I flub, it's when I get two different people in my head while I'm writing sales copy. So this person and this person. And so what I end up doing is that this person is a little bit different. He wants to build muscle mass, but he also wants to lose weight. And this person over here is really, really overweight, and he just wants to be able to, get up the stairs, And so I've got these two in my head, and I start writing sales copy for both of them. And that's when it gets just off the cliff, right? And so I don't make sense. I confuse other people, but if I just get that one person in my mind, then I'm able to very effectively communicate, because I'm only talking to one person. It's like sitting down at the kitchen table with one person and talking to them. So that's the way I like to create the in harmony. Collins Dictionary on harmony. The harmony of something is the way in which its parts are combined into a pleasant arrangement. Okay? So all of it is in harmony for that audience. Okay, so I've shown this in an earlier video, and this ad is in perfect harmony with me. And I'm going to tell you why. It's just for me, might not be for other people, but here's the thing. So before, and this is what I was talking about with graphics and sales copy and all of that stuff, okay? So this person, whoever created this set, created this active male picture. That's what he did, okay? So you got a bicycle over here, you got a motorcycle over there, you got a bow target over there, you got saws and all kind of things hanging there. And we know they created this set because there's no way to open that drawer. They had to remove that motorcycle up against there. And so they created a set. All right? Okay. Then you take this topic right here. That's the communication. All of this is a communication, but that's the topic. And then you see this down here, and he's explaining, very communicative, right? So he's not said one word yet. Did you notice that? The whole thing rides on this one picture. So I get this idea. What do I get an idea of? Well, when I look at this, I get an idea of, hey, you know what? I've thought about when I'm riding a motorcycle, if I were to, run over a stick and it jams inside the inside of my leg, or like I go off a cliff or something like that. Do I have a tourniquet with me? Like these kinds of things. I've thought about that when I'm on both of those. With a bow, like you're pulling the thing back. It could come out and go right through your hand. So that's the kind of thing where I've already thought about that. So he put those pictures right in front of a med kit. You see how brilliant that is? And so all of this one picture is going to get my attention and create reach. It's going to attract me. It's going to engage me. And that's what you're trying to do with whatever your prospect is. What does that tell you about the importance of knowing your audience? So I just explained it to you, but I'm explaining why I love it. All right, now turn that and look at it and say, now I see why I need to know my audience. What's my audience doing that would need a med kit? Does he have other family members that he's worried about that? Does he know how to use these pieces? Those kinds of things, all right? And so now flip that. Now you see what Tim does all day, every day. Now flip that and look at that picture and say, who is he not talking to? Who would dismiss that ad like that? Because the more that I go, what's good about it? What's bad about it? What's good? What's bad? Who are they trying to get? Who's he trying to attract here? You're like, why? How do I know what he's trying to do here? Who would he tick off by showing this ad? That kind of thing is the way that I get good at marketing, and I get the touch is the way that I call it. It would be when you've worked with something for a very long time, you know where buttons are, right? You can tell somebody it's got a brand new electronic watch, right? Because they're like trying to figure out But you've got somebody who's had one for 5 years, the same model, and they don't even look at it. And they can run over to the time, set the time, okay? That's the thing where when you keep looking at marketing pieces and asking that question is, what does that audience know about his prospect? What would he know to have set that up? That's the stuff, because that's where you get really sharp at this game. Okay, so the two most vital items to know to be successful at marketing and promotion. Know your product and your business. Choose a product and know it. Know your business. Number two is know your audience. Know what they want. Know their sophistication level on what you're promoting. What do they know or don't know? Do they know you? Do they know your brand? Do they know your product? Do they know products similar to yours that are competition? Do you know what they already use? You see, this is the information, the intelligence gathering, if you will, that you lay out on a table, and you get the picture of that person and the knowledge that they have, and then that's when you craft that ad for that one person. And so you're going to talk to that person as if you're sitting there. Okay, so what's his sophistication level will determine whether or not you're going to focus on, I don't know, balancing his omega-3s, his protein requirements. Like, if his sophistication, if he's been on 10, 20, 30 diets, then his sophistication level is very high. And so he's probably very afraid of failing, right? And so I would probably put that in the headline because that's his number one problem. He doesn't want to try another one again. Same in MLM. People have that, okay? So, and just always remember what I mentioned in the last thing, which is you're always speaking to that one person, okay? That's what you're doing. All right, so here is my binary, not a compensation plan. Binary meaning two. My binary test of promotion. Number one, was my prospect attracted to my promotion? Number two, did he or she engage and read or watch it? Number three, did my message influence him or her? All right. Notice what I put up here. Attract, engage, influence. That's what you're trying to do in that sequence. Number one, number two, number three. So when you go to craft an ad, you're looking, number one, to attract. Does it attract? In other words, I showed you the example. Everything about that ad attracted. Everything was perfect for who he was trying to get. And who knows that his spouse, girl, is not doing that in a whole nother setting. Okay, so in the car with kids in the back seat, you know what I mean? With looking in the rearview mirror at the kids. All right. And so, and then engage. All right. Does he or she engage? Okay, so when I first looked at that, I immediately engaged in it and clicked. And I started watching it. And then did his message or your message influence the prospect? All right, so here's the two binary tests. Number one, if he or she responds positively, assume all three are yes. Just like that, you'll know. If he or she doesn't respond, one or more are no. So you don't know if it was attract. You don't know if it was engage. You don't know if it was influence. Or you know that it's not. That one you know it didn't because they didn't do anything. All right, so think in this about a social media post. So you post something up, could be just your family or something like that, and you get 2 likes. All right, so that was your engagement. They looked at it, you know they engaged, you know that it attracted, you know that they engaged, and it influenced them, and you got 2 likes. So that was your pay. Okay, now you can start thinking about who is on your social media. Is your social media your entertainment? Or is it for the purpose of the people who follow you? And so that is really where you have this gear shift about, oh, wow. Yeah, of course, I would be talking to my audience. Okay. All right. So if they share it, okay, it's a little bit higher points, right? But when we start moving into running some sort of an advertisement or promoting for the purpose of selling something, you can practice getting this with benign types of posts. You know, you're just posting about what you're doing on Saturday morning or something like that. But practice this attract, engage, influence. All right, so please comment on this one. What am I sure I can do for someone? Okay, what do you think of that as the primary thing that you turn into your product shelf and say, this is what I'm going to promote? What do you think about that phrase? Number 2, was prospect attracted to, engaged in, influenced by my message? What do you think about that as being the test of all of your content, all of your stuff? All right, and so then if you liked it, please like it, share it, subscribe, and you're welcome to join our Telegram channel. We talk a whole lot about each video. We give examples and stuff like that. People ask questions, and I'm able to answer them that way. So thanks so much. I appreciate you watching.